Hey everybody, we are The Natural Ones, a Dungeons & Dragons comedy cast that takes place in the Roselands, an original fantasy world and a land slipping into chaos as the players try to do their best in keeping things in check. Sort of. Join players Jerry, Pat, and Aiden as they roll their way out of whatever Dungeon Master Zektown puts in front of them. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, Google Play, and wherever else you find your podcasts. Find us on Twitter at TheNat1SCast. Again, that's TheNat1SCast. We are a proud founding member of the A Tale of D20s podcast network.
Greetings, Dungeon Delvers, and welcome to yet another exciting chapter of A Tale of D20s, Descent into the Void, where six friends journey together to tell a story of mythic proportion.
Ah, gather round, gather round. Let me tell you a tale of life and death, of joy and sorrow, a tale of D20s.
So, without further ado, let's remove the bookmark and continue our epic tale. Last time, Liberators, you attended the gala and met with the large prankster King Terminus. Following back to his mystical throne, you discussed everything that transpired during your adventure here in Duskhaven, from the miracles to the mayhem. After a back and forth between Terminus and Judean, a Unity Knight came running into the chamber, alerting of an undead horde attacking the city suddenly. His hand forced Terminus left the chambers, leaving you with the multi-layered illusion of deja vu and an undead skeleton lord and its minions. During the battle, Horatio sat upon the throne of Terminus, which connected him to the ley lines of the world of Duskhaven, enhancing his powers but draining him afterwards. With the enemies defeated, you all teleported to the Dust District Forest and met with Sariel, King telling her to flee to safety, saving all those who need aid along the way. Horatio was also contacted by Duramo, warning him of the lives that he held in his hand in exchange for the shard that was locked in the corpus. With the cat out of the bag and everyone aware of the stolen sending jewel that Duramo has in his possession, you all decided to save the town as best you could before dealing with the other matters, gallantly riding into battle upon the brightly colored unicorn steeds summoned by King. As the town people run and cover under the attacks of the undead, Liberators, riding on your horses, you've now entered into the western side of the Great District that you've been riding yourself down, trying to meet up with the battle. There you see over a swarm of banshees, as well as other undead creatures and riders on horses inhabiting the town square, with one of the canals in between. Several people are cowering, jumping into the water as they're trying to make their way across, running away as they're being blocked by other undead, and they're all swirled and intermingled into the groups of monsters that are attacking them. Monaco, since you had ran up first and saw over the group of banshees, and you all will be able to get a surprise attack as none of them have noticed you. You can go ahead and roll your fireball, targeting all the banshees in the upper left-hand corner, and then roll damage.
And one of those, because her fireballs are particularly hot, she does 5 more damage than that, because I rerolled one of the ones into a 6.
Okay.
With flames of Phlegethos.
And the rest of you all, you look on over, riding onto the unicorn, looking behind you, see Monaco pull out her hand, shooting a blast of fire into the corner as people are kind of running. The banshees were swooping up to capture one of the inhabitants of Thelos, but luckily, blasting them back, they're like, ah! Putting up their hands to their face, blocking the magical flames. Each of you also get a surprise attack. What would you like to do? Or a surprise action that you can do here, which can include your movement if you want to reposition yourselves.
If I can, or is it going in order?
Yeah, we're gonna go in order. So, Horatio, what would you like to do for your action?
I don't have a fireball to throw out. I have a lightning bolt, but I don't really have the placement for it. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw out a scorching ray at Zombie 1.
Alright, go ahead and target it and roll that attack.
The first one, it's for that. 20 on the second one.
It's a hit.
And the final ray, 28.
That's also a hit.
Alright.
Alright, So you go ahead using your first action as they all turn up and start to hear you galloping, shooting off your fire ray at the first zombie that you see, each of them hitting, blasting it for 6 damage, then another 9, and following another 6 as each of them square hit the zombie straight into the chest. Duran, you also get your surprise action or your free action or turn that you like to do.
Okay, do we have up to an action and a movement, or just an
It
action?
would just be either move your position or use an action.
Oh, bummer. I should have used all those resources. I'm going to...
I'll shout out, charge them! Save the people! Trust!
And don't forget, you're on your horses if you can choose to dismount if you want, but you do have the unicorn movement.
Well, Duran's going to use his unicorn movement to... How much movement is unicorn? 90?
The unicorn has 50 feet of movement.
I'm going to move over here, and that's my action / movement.
All right, so you started off as everyone's flying off fire spells. You ride your unicorn into the heart of the battle with Firethorn at your side. You go ahead and charge into battle. The zombies turn up and look at you. At this point, you're right next to all the people. You see there are tons of people intermingled into here, and they're all crying, "Say, help us!" All right, but up next is King. Your turn. What would you like to do?
After shouting out to Duran and having him reposition in, I'm going to look forth towards my Stellai and say, guard him and protect him. This is our space. And I'll cast Warding Bond. No, I won't. I'll cast Spiritual Guardians on myself, which will then also trigger around him as well. And I'll cast it at just a standard 3rd level.
Alrighty then. So, coming around, both you and Duran are these unicorns that prance around, knocking into all the foes that are in there. You can choose who takes damage and who does not take damage.
Yeah, so it's going to be all enemies, and none of the actual people.
Okay. Alright. They all had failed, I believe, all taking damage from your... Well, except for one succeeded. But your unicorns all crash into the zombies and the flaming skulls and other undead creatures that are within this space, knocking into them as you hear them cry out in pain. And Cal, what would you like to do?
I would like to take my revolver and, from where I'm on my unicorn, fire a shot off.
Oh no, Calamity, Cal. Natural 1. This is what your magic pistol?
So this was one of the magic pistols, yeah.
It jams indeed.
It jams.
So you go ahead and try to make your shot, and as you pull the trigger, it poof smoke into your face as it gets jammed inside of the chamber.
Yeah. Ugh. I take the other revolver and try to fire a shot off at the same skeleton. Still trying to make the most out of this bad situation.
23 hits.
That's
Roll that
23.
damage. Strike with your gun, hitting the undead flaming skull. As it does, part of the bullet seems to melt away from the intense flames that are circling around its cerebral, and as it does, it strikes it, the skull bounces back slightly and kind of like hisses and cackles at you. Now, alright, so now we will start. Top of the round, Monako.
She rides forward on her unicorn, going up towards these people who are trying to run down across this bridge, and she yells at them, "Come on! That way's not safe!" And then she'll fire a couple Eldritch Blasts at. I mean, if there's anyone who is in particular need, she would try to help someone with it. With an aimed blast, but otherwise she'll just do it at one of those banshees. So I'll move her.
All right, go ahead and make your movement. You have 50 feet of movement. Galloping on your horse, your unicorn, you make it across.
Yeah, she'll aim at these banshees that seem to be chasing these people towards us. One Eldritch Blast hits
13 does hit. Go ahead and roll that damage.
for 9 damage,
9 points of damage. All right.
and yet another one comes out of her wand, blasting it for 13 damage. And a third and final Eldritch Blast, which also hits for 6 force damage. From the Eldritch Blast, which comes out of her wand, which just sort of slings.
Anything else you wish to do this turn?
She will spend a bonus action to cast Shillelagh. And it seems to get heavy in her hand, and she swings it a little bit, just like ready to bash any zombies that come by her. again, sending more attention, trying to get these villagers escorted.
Okay.
Rather than actually trying to defeat the horde.
All right. So Monaco, you run across on your unicorn, yelling out to the people to follow you as you do, sending off some Eldritch Blast, blasting one of the banshees back and forth, casting your magic onto your weapon, getting it that glistening glow of power. You look back, looking at your allies. Up next, Horatio, what would you like to do?
Horatio would like to move with his, I believe, blue unicorn right over here.
All right, 30 feet towards your left, on the banks of the river.
On the banks of the river towards the northwest. And then he is going to, there's a house there, so he's just gonna throw a firebolt at the zombie 3 that seems to be taking damage from the spirit guardians, just to kind of clean out a little bit.
All right, go ahead and roll that attack.
That hits. So
26 hits, yes.
It's 3d6 if I'm not mistaken, or 3d10 now, right?
It would say in your spell.
Yeah, it is.
Yep. All right, roll them 3d10s. 13
13
points of damage.
And then the rest of his movement, he will come back because he has 50 total, right? The unicorn.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so he'll come back 20 feet this way.
All right. Anything else you wish to do this turn instead of your bonus?
No, I'm good.
All right. So Horatio, also onto your blue unicorn, come peeking around the corner as you gallop, firing your blast over at the zombie that's right now overtaken by the spiritual guardians. You run back into using the horse to keep in a safe distance. Up next is Duran. What would you like to do?
I forget. Is Spirit Guardian stationary on the on the location or the target?
It's on you.
Cool. Duran's gonna try to move through here. He's gonna try to sneak this zombie here in the back with an attack.
All right. Go ahead and roll your attack. Don't forget you have your assassinate and all that thing since they have not moved yet.
Ruby.
27 hits.
Full damage.
Oof, 20 points of damage. Continue with your attack action.
Oh no, and a little bit of sneak attack.
Alright, 9 more points of damage onto zombie. Number 7. As you crash down into the zombie, it falls to the ground, turning into just a pile of rotted flesh through your slash.
Awesome. I'm gonna move a bit more, and then Duran's gonna attack zombie number 5 with the second part of his attack action. Unfortunately, he's all out of sneak attack. Does a double critical connect with them?
Oh yeah, that totally.
That is so dirty.
Slashing down that zombie just gets slashed into a pile of mush as you critically dismember the foe.
Duran's gonna move on to Z number 3, and with his bonus action, he's gonna roll to hit. And with that one, I'm gonna actually use one of my combat superiority die to add 1d8 to the damage, and also allow this person here, this guy between these two Zs, to move half his movement without provoking attacks of opportunity.
He sees you as an ally, so...
Let's see. So for maneuvering strike, it has to be a friendly creature I can see. They do not have to be an ally.
Oh, a
Just
friendly creature? You're saving their
Yes.
life. They'll trust you. And you want him to... He said you can move his, without provoking opportunity attack? His movement?
Yep, you move half his movement without provoking any opportunity attacks.
Alright, let's see where he wants to run to. Thank you, good sir, as he... And you notice it's like a gnome gentleman, as he wearing long robes that totally been torn and are dirty from him constantly tripping and running. He runs down past, heading towards the southern region.
Awesome. So cool. And then Duran is going to move last bit of horse movement right here. And he's going to heal. He's going to like lean back on the horse and cry out, "The Liberators are here!"
Anything else you wish to do this turn?
No, Dungeon Master, other than Duran just on the horse with Firethorn over his head, trying to guide these people to safety.
Alright, so Duran, after running in there with the spiritual guardians circling around you, and as they bombard each and every one of the undead, you go ahead and slash, decapitating most of the undead around you, while ferrying people who were within there, the distance between them, to safety. Up next will be the Revenants. So, Duran, you could specifically see this. Looking down towards your the eastern side, you see riding in large skeletal war horses are these undead beings with armor on. As the horses look at you, your unicorn starts to neigh and whinny back in frustration and maybe not fear, but more of just being antagonized by these undead war horses. Ignoring the people there, they're going to make their way towards you, starting with Revenant number 1. 5, 10, 15. Alright, so these people are going to have to make saving throws, which will automatically fail. So they get knocked out the way as the gigantic horse is pushing these people left and right, knocking them onto the ground prone as they look at you, Duran, and look to make to attack. Alright, so this one can only reach right there, but it locks eyes with you. And as it does, its beady red eyes begin to glow, Duran, and you find yourself, your mind starting to shift back and forth throughout consciousness. I need you to roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Can I see him?
No, you're behind a house. Well,
Am
actually,
I? Because
you can see him. Yeah, you can see him.
Can I counterspell that?
It's not a spell, but you go ahead and reach out for your counter spell, and you will burn the spell slot in doing so.
Ouch.
I tried.
It's okay. I believe. Wisdom, right?
Yep.
A 19.
19, all right. So, as he peers over looking at you, as your eyes start to shift back and forth throughout consciousness, you start to feel a fearful presence strike into your soul. You get more and more scared and your mind befuddles, but at the last moment you're able to snatch off back into consciousness as the necrotic feeling ends on you and you're back into, we're hearing the screams and the cries and the howls of all the creatures and people around you. All right. But stepping into the sphere of your spirit guardians, it will end its turn. The next one will move up around the corner, seeing the commotion of everyone who's standing next to it. It will also attempt to do the same thing towards Horatio. So I need you to make me a wisdom saving throw. So that is a failure. So you have taken a part on its vengeful glare. All right, for the duration, you are paralyzed and frightened of this creature. All right, it will continue. It actually has more movement, so it will continue and get into range to attack you. It gets 2 attacks with his fist. First attack is a 24.
Good thing his AC is
7 points of damage with an additional 16 points of bludgeoning damage since you are a target of its vengeful stare. So that will end that Revenant's turn. Up next is Revenant number 3. Seeing that there's a lot of mayhem over there, it's going to make its way up as well. Moving 50 feet, so that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. It will also make its way around to Horatio.
DM, please.
You just, it will look over at King though. King, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
This is not my specialty, guys. Ooh. Let's save this.
I am hiding behind
18. So
oh,
you
do I get
successfully-
+4 from Cal? So it's actually a 22.
Yeah.
Oh, still succeeds nonetheless. But you manage to succeed against its stare, and you are not taken over. Looking distraught and angered, the creature will then just go ahead and swing at Horatio from its horse. First attack is a 15, which misses. Second attack is a natural 20, doing 12 more points of damage. So as he goes ahead and strikes you, Horatio, the last bit of your abjuration magic shatters across your body, leaving yourself defenseless from its strikes, taking bludgeoning damage onto your arm. Almost it seems to be damaging it, bruising your arm strong. You start to see little bits of undead necrotic energy start to flutter around where it had made contact. All right, but where it is right now, it will end its turn. The skulls go. So the flame skulls are going to ignore you and just attack the people who are within its midst. So for the most part, they all gather together and begin attacking the people. And you just hear the screams like ah! As people fall down onto the ground. All right. As they go to do, you see them start to attack and bite and bite at the people, setting them their clothes ablaze as they start to turn around and go, help me, help! None of them seem to be killed in this sense of attack, but they are being bombarded and surrounded at this point. All right, so up next is going the warhorse skeletons, which took their turn with the riders, so they will not go. King, you're up next.
I will proudly take a few steps forward and then stand next to Horatio to bolster him, and doing so, pull my guardians with me and smash them into the Revenants and war horses here. And as I do so, I'm going to look back at the pool of water, and I'm going to say, we need to extinguish this evil and wash it away. And I'll call forth from the natural energy there, and the water will slowly, recede up the side and then form, get absorbed into this, bulbous flower, and then unleash a flood forth in front of Horatio. So the surge of water comes, and they'll have to make a dexterity save. And they'll take 48, and then they'll be knocked prone if they failed.
Okay, so zombie number 6 has died. Revenant number 2 has been knocked prone, but since he is mounted, it's the horse, and he gets to use his reaction to land safely onto the ground, which he will do. The horse, however, does get knocked prone. Zombie number 1 is dead. The war horse is on the ground, so then that means zombie number 1 is going to... the Revenant will also use his reaction to land safely onto the ground.
And then, lastly, the spiritual guardians will swirl around and crash into them as well, the ones that are near me, taking some damage. And then I don't have a bonus I can do, so I'll stand there proudly next to Horatio and try and offer him support.
All right. So, King, you go ahead, summoning a tile away from the canal behind you, crashing them into the Revenants and the zombies. They are whooshed and pushed with the power of the waters, and the horses fall down to the ground, but the Revenants are able to jump off using their reaction to land safely onto it, still taking, though, the full effect of your water crash. 2 of the zombies did fall dead, so they have the chance to rejuvenate. So let's go ahead and see if they do. I'm just gonna roll once for all of them. No, they have not rolled high enough, and they remain after the water rescinds and goes back into the canal. You see revealed there are all the zombies that are killed, knocked into the ground, and turned into mush.
May your bones be cleansed by these waters.
I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of them. Sweet. All right. Up next are the Banshees, which are gonna go after these people and just right now they're being chased. So the Banshees are not close enough to do any attacks, and they're trying to go ahead and grab, but the people are crawling away like, save us! And they're continuing to go.
Don't let them touch you!
Cal, you're up next.
Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is stow my broken revolver, grabbing a regular revolver, and moving up to be with my friends. It's definitely going to be like that. I'm going to use my bonus action to use a level 1 spell slot and call upon Divine Favor, giving myself an additional 1d4 of radiant damage to every attack that lands. And then I'm going to start the shooting. I'm going to fire 2 shots with my magic revolver that is working. First at Revenant number 4.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Why did this always happen to you?
Hey,
It always, whenever it matters.
Natural
They're
one.
cursed pistols!
Kellenborn's trying to balance out them 3 nat 20s from Duran over there.
Oh, seriously. Well, the magical revolver that I had jams. I look frustrated at it as I raise my other arm with the normal pistol and try to, again, make the best of the situation and fire another shot at Revenant 4.
That hits!
25 and hits. I'm frustrated as my magic revolvers.
Alright, so you go ahead and
Jam.
fire your shot once again. The next magic pistol jam, now with 2 broken pistols. Giving out, rehoisting them, you pull out your non-magical gun, firing it. It actually strikes, and you notice that although the blast was a normal pistol, it seemed to have taken the full brunt of the damage anyway, knowing that you'll still at least get to do full damage with a non-magical pistol in this creature.
Excellent. That is good enough. And that'll be my turn. That's movement. I'm close enough to give Horatio the additional +4 on his saves, as well as King, who is adjacent.
All right. Up next, all the zombies. So zombie number 2. The Revenant will look on after it, and then they'll start kind of hissing in a language that just sounds like moans and hiss, and point. And the zombie, it will point over at Duran as the zombie ignores the fleeing pedestrians and instead goes after him. So it will step in there, immediately taking damage and getting half of its movement speed. So go ahead and target zombie number 2 with your spiritual guardians. All right, taking 13 damage. It still pushes his way past the gnome woman, making it into melee distance from Duran. Being bombarded by the unicorns, it will make its attack. It will slam against you, Duran. It's a 6, which misses, and that will end its turn. Zombie number 3. Remove this one. Oh, no, number 3 is dead. Sorry. Zombie number 4 will move down. It will take the attack starter's turn and then the spiritual guardians. If you can roll for zombie number 4, please. In the midst of being bombarded and impaled by these unicorns, it will go ahead at advantage strike against Duran. 22, which hits, doing 3 points of damage. So the zombie just slams his body into you after you're bounced back and forth in between 2 of the zombies, unable to dodge. Up next, zombie number 8, which will it'll make its way up towards Horatio, Cal, and King. That's 5.
Wait, which zombie was this?
Number 8.
Oh.
10. And standing behind the warhorse, it will end its turn, ready to pounce. Zombie number 9 will take damage within doing 5 points of damage. It will continue to make its way, pushing past the pedestrians, going after the bigger threat, which is Duran. Its attack, which is a 20, which hits, doing 5 points of damage to Duran.
I use my reaction to half that using my rogue ability. It's been a while.
Uncanny dodge.
Using my uncanny dodge.
Yep.
Taking the slash into a non-essential area.
So as the zombie slams down on you, you just barely manage to dodge out the way, taking a slash, not going towards your chest, but more to your arm area. Up next is top of the round, Monako.
Minako turns around and sees that her friends are in trouble, but they seem to be handling themselves. And then she looks over and sees that people are dying in front of her. And she runs towards the banshees and the flame skulls. And as she does so, she will say, "Blessings of Nyx, bring your blanket of night here and protect these people." And she will cast darkness using the Infernal Legacy trait on her wand, bringing a 15-foot radius darkness with her. And she will then move over to where all the villagers are where these civilians are being attacked, because they're just trying to run away. Hopefully this will give them some cover. And as the darkness kind of flows out in a blanket around her of starry darkness, night, she just says, "Keep running, run towards my voice." And I will move her and then...
Alright, now go ahead and move yourself where you like to be. And you said 15 feet from there?
Yeah, and then there's a 15-foot radius of darkness that emits from her.
Alright, so coming through you see sparkling out, almost like a dark night sky with no stars in it, almost, as it envelops the entire area within 15 feet from you. The people start screaming like, "What is this?" You hear splashing of the people in the water, unable to figure out where they go. Hearing the sound of your voice, just roll me a charisma check really quick, because they're just scared out of their minds.
15.
15, okay. Hearing the sound of your voice, you start to hear splashing heading in your direction. "Help us, please!" And they will make movements towards you. So all of the people begin running into the magical darkness. Let me just see if these skulls can see magical darkness. Give me one moment.
Oh, I really hope not.
Okay, got it.
Oh, please tell me they can't.
Anything else you wish to do?
No, she just gets into position telling them, you'll be safe, follow the sound of my voice. We'll get you out of here. The Liberators are here.
Alright, up next is Horatio. Horatio, looking over, you see Monako riding further into the area, enveloping herself in magical darkness, and you hear her yelling in between all the screams and the hisses from the undead. What do you wish to do with these revenants in front of you? Oh, actually, I'm sorry. You are paralyzed.
Yeah,
so you cannot. You can do nothing. At the end of your turn, please roll me another saving throw.
It's a wisdom save.
Yeah.
Make sure you add 4.
Right, yeah,
Biggie. You see?
I've added my 4. 28.
Hey.
Nice.
Okay. 28. So you are no longer frightened and paralyzed. The frightened is in the way, but you are no longer paralyzed.
Okay, so I'm still scared. I can move now.
Exactly.
Alright, but this was at the end of my turn, so I cannot move now.
Correct.
Alright, that's the end of my turn.
Okay. Able to, your allies boistering you from behind, you're able to stave off the paralysis. Finally able to move, though looking back, you still see the red beady eyes of the creature that stared at you before, and you were just still filled with dread and frightened. So you cannot use your movement to go any closer to them, and as long as they are within your sight, your ability checks will be at disadvantage. But up next is Duran. What do you wish to do?
Duran, feels oddly at peace. This is a familiar setting. The sounds of blades clashing and the smell of fires burning. But he feels renewed with the energy of his Stellai and of this purpose of saving these people. He's going to try to execute these zombies and assist his friends as soon as possible.
All right, go ahead and roll those attacks.
Whoop!
Natural 1. Attack on Zombie 2 goes awry, almost knocking you off the horse, but you're able to save your balance.
Also, he renews that energy and swinging with his momentum still, with his foot in the footholds. Wait, there are no
footholds.
saddles.
You're just magically attached to
There are no saddles. Awesome, swaying with the magical unicorn. He's gonna try to strike out again.
Oh, but a 22 does hit. Roll that damage. Alright, slashing into zombie number 2 after 17 points of damage, it falls into the ground, into another pile of fleshy mush. It will make a constitution saving throw, see if it will regenerate. Nope, it does not.
Rip. And then with his bonus action, Duran is going to strike zombie number 9. You roll Nove.
Alright, that's 28. Roll damage. 16 points of damage as it falls into the ground dead. It will attempt to reform itself. I'm rolling really low on these reforms. It does not.
Duran is going to come around on the unicorn and trample the zombies' remains, standing as a guard between the zombies and the citizens.
Alright.
He's gonna look back, and he's gonna look back at the team and point at Revenant number 1. These ones lead them. Strike them down, and we will have them.
Okay. Anything else you wish to do this turn?
Nope, that's it.
Alright, so Duran, you go ahead, missing with your first strike, but getting with your next, you're able to fell 2 of the zombies, unable to reconstitute themselves after your mighty slash. Moving yourself in between it and one of the other the zombie and one of the pedestrians, you cry out to your friends. Up next are the Revenants. Revenant number 1 takes damage from the effect of the unicorns, but will run past everyone with its warhorse, getting itself pushing back, because these people don't even need to make saves, because they're just 5, 10, 15, 20, yep, has 25 feet of movement to do so. Pushing back one of the pedestrians to get itself into a better position right next to Duran, squishing him between zombie number 4 and itself. It will make an attack at advantage against Duran. Okay, so it will attempt to do its Vengeful glare again against you. Go ahead and roll me again a wisdom saving throw.
My will is focused.
Okay.
16.
16 is not a success. As he stares.
Oh, but my mind was unfocused.
And it's not a charm effect. I just double checked that. I just wanted to be sure. As it stares at you with its glowing, beady red eyes within its metallic metal body, undead body. You see through its helmet, its eyes, as you just start to feel the fear come upon you, and you are paralyzed. And then we'll go ahead and make its 2 attacks. Oh, since you are a victim of Vengeful glare, you feel the necrotic energy pulsate throughout your bones and your flesh, taking 19 plus an additional 28 points of damage. Alright, it will go ahead and roll its second attack. 24, doing 11 plus 10 points of damage. So, Duran, as the Revenant rides in there, being bombarded by the holy unicorns. It strikes you with its glare. Now it's paralyzed by this foe and a victim of its glare. It goes and lashes at you. And as it does, extra damage is inflicted upon you from each bludgeoning strike it does with its necrotic fists. With that, it will end its turn. Remnant number 4 will take damage from the spiritual guardians and will attack King. Well, actually, it will attempt to use its Vengeful Stare. So go ahead and add your +4 King and roll me a Wisdom saving throw. 22.
A little dramatic there for a second, but 22.
It looked like a 4, and I was like, oh, it's 18.
It looked like a 4 to me too. I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit.
22.
Nice, so you succeed. Angry, this undead creature will go ahead and make its fist attacks against you. First attack, 17, doing 7 points of damage. Roll me that concentration check. All right, that is a success.
Barely. Barely.
It will go ahead and make its second strike against you. 21. Doing 8 points of damage. Go ahead and roll. Yeah, that's a succeed. Alright, still, as you take strike after strike, blow after blow from this undead revenant, you're managed to hold your concentration on your spiritual guardians as it begins to flicker a little bit behind you and Duran. But it made its 2 attacks, so it will end its turn. Next revenant will take its damage. Go ahead and roll its damage for spiritual guardian. That's alright. 9 points of damage. It will go in, and it will make its stare over at... Yeah, they're very smart. They're gonna... Actually, no. He sees Cal, and he'll go ahead and make a stare at Cal. Cal, roll me a wisdom check. Saving throw, sorry. Wisdom saving throw. Don't forget to add your +4.
That's 7. I've become paralyzed.
Yes.
And
Well, you become paralyzed, and then when you get rid of the paralysis, you then become frightened. But all right. So unable, as it stares at you again with those red beady eyes, you begin to freeze up, almost like Medusa, a Gorgon attacking you, and you're unable to move from the frightenness. It will then move up towards you, Cal, and make its attacks against you. First attack is a 12. Yeesh. Even though you're not moving, it still can't hit you. As it makes a strike. With his sheer glee, it just happens to miss. It tries again. 17. And that
17.
hits. You take.
Actually, sorry, hold on. As I see him going in for the second strike against him, I'd like to call forth the energy of Myliki to potentially trip up this and use my...
Favored by the god.
No, that's for me.
Oh.
Shared favor, and use 2 sorcery points to reduce his attack by a d4. Reduce it by 2. Does what was it? 16?
15.
16 hit?
It'll be a 15. So you go ahead, but as you're about to get struck, just almost like a rock slips underneath the revenant and loses its balance, it seems, almost missing Cal once again after the winds are shifted into his favor by the power of Myliki. It looks over at King angry after hearing his whispers and begins to squeal and yell at him like as it shifts his attention towards him now. But that was his turn. So, one thing you do notice now that you're close enough personal is that these revenants, as they've been going, all the damage, well, not all, but the damage you see that's been happening to it, they've been slowly but surely reformulating over time. And you notice that they don't look as beat up as they did when you knocked them with your water. Now, up next will be the Flame Skulls. Now, they cannot see in the magical darkness. So as they go, they begin to clatter as teeth chattering up and down, looking around for something to attack. Instead, they will randomly attack something within the sphere of them. It's possible. They don't know where everything is. They're not very intelligent. Or are they? No, they're intelligent.
I say, Reginald, what do you say?
But they will attempt to attack knowing where things are in the direction of them. So they're going to use their flaming sphere to try to make light. So Monako, you hear within the darkness of you just igniting of like a fire ignition, like just multiple of them. Now they're not shining through your magical darkness, but you can hear the sheer heat, feel the sheer heat that's coming off of it as they all begin to ignite a small inferno within the darkness. The ones that are not in the darkness, however, are going to just
Minako can see in magical darkness.
Oh, so you then see all of
so
this.
she can see. Are they casting spells or something?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
So they're all casting flaming sphere. So all around them, you see there's a multitude of flaming spheres. Unfortunately, since the people can only move so far, they are within the area of the flaming sphere. The rest of these the other two are going to avoid the magical darkness and start to make their way down towards Duran. Is their movement? 40 feet. Okay. They stepped within, so therefore you can go ahead and roll for target Flame Skull number 6 and Flame Skull number 5. They're both going to be moving in to the spiritual gardens. Okay. And they are also going to shoot their... You know what? They want to make sure they hit you. They've been alerted about your presence. And instead, Duran, they're just going to fire at you magic missile. So you take...
So that gaze, what else does it do other than paralyze me?
Oh, well, it does... Well, you don't know what else it does. It does do something else, but it doesn't...
Okay.
It doesn't pertain to you mostly.
Because Duran cries out through his mind, through his ring.
Oh, you can totally talk throughout your bar ascending and things like that. Oh, you mean your ring of spell story?
No, he's not wearing that callus.
Oh. So you mean your bar ascending? Is that what you're talking about?
Bar ascending. Yes, sir.
You can totally do that. And the next one is going to magic missile you as well. While the 4 of these are just going to release... They're going to attempt to move, but they're staying within the darkness because they don't know exactly where everyone is. And I'm going to roll some checks for the pedestrians. Ooh, okay. So Monako, you see that each of the flaming heads begin to summon flaming spears next to them. As they begin to ram it to the side, they just so happens you're looking at the people, just yelling people to move out the way, to duck, trying to help them the best you can. And in doing so, they all manage to just either move out the way or the skulls shoot the spears in another direction, missing all of them for the most part. Though hearing your calls and your shouting towards them, you start to see the flaming spears make their way into your direction. But that will end the skull's turn in total.
Doc! They're over there! Watch out! Lower! Get on the ground!
Alright. The warhorse skeleton, no longer mounted with its rider, will then take its regular turn. But it will possibly die, so go ahead and roll that save on the spiritual guardians. Alright?
Yeah, Omar, am I... Is Duran going to be on the ground since he was paralyzed? I was on horseback.
No, you're actually still on your horse. You're just like kind of stuck on the horse. The horse, you notice that it keeps you upright with no saddle, nothing like this. The unicorn is magical. For the most part, you're just kind of just stuck on it.
Nice.
But your unicorn is not paralyzed, so you can totally make your unicorn move. So the warhorse gets stricken by the magical unicorns and is turned into a pile of dust and bones as it falls to the ground, and it does not try to reform
poor ghost
itself.
horse.
Warhorse number 2 is mounted, so it will go at the same time as Revenant 1. So up next is King.
I guess from this vantage I can see Duran and see how beat up and hurt he is, and I feel through my bond with him how weak he is becoming, and I will look at him and I'll say, hold firm, Stellai. You are my power. You are my arm. And I will distance, using my meta magic, cast Cure Wounds at 5th level.
Okay. Are you casting it on yourself or on him? How far does distance let you move the touch spell?
Oh, it might only be 30 feet. I might need to actually get closer. Okay, I'm going to...
And is it touch or... Yeah, touch, not self.
It's not self. Yeah, it's touch. Touch becomes 30 feet.
30 feet, yes. So you probably have to move...
Yeah, no. I'm going to run past Horatio and say, stay strong, and then I'll go... Because I have...
They will take opportunity attacks against you.
Yeah, Revenant...
Wait, can't you have your mount disengaged before it starts that movement?
You could. Remember, mounts can disengage, dash, or...
But is
dodge.
that is like a... the mount?
The mount.
So the mount will disengage, and I'll be like, stay strong, and then I'll get closer towards the canal there with the water, and I'll go around Horatio to go behind him and run. Yeah, and now I'll catch Zombie 8, and then I'll also be within 30 feet to distance Cure Wounds Duran. And then let me Spirit Guardian this zombie.
These zombies start taking a chunk out of these unicorns.
Zombies need to GTFO. Okay, right. So that was my cast.
Spiritual Guardian. So after moving your way over, disengaging on your unicorn, you go into range of the zombie, doing 17 points of damage to it. What else would you like to do?
So that was cast. I can't do bonus action Spiritual Guardians because it's a leveled spell. So that would be, I guess, I have, that wasn't my full movement of 50 though, so that was 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, and I'm going to run into the darkness, and I'll say, these vile undead will be vanquished in my domain, and I'll bring the Spiritual Guardians closer to smash them into the skulls and hopefully give these people some respite to run through the flaming spheres and maybe get out.
Well, you don't know any of that's happening.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I don't know any of that. I'll just charge into the darkness because I heard Minako say run into the darkness and shelter. So I'm trying to provide additional cover in her darkness.
Okay, so you go ahead and ride your unicorn in there. You go into this cloud and see nothing but just darkness. But it doesn't feel scary to you. You almost feel the familiar sensation of the goddess Nyx all around you, but your sight is still hindered.
I'm going to buck up and bray on my unicorn and just stand there majestically and have my spiritual guardians emanate around me and embrace the darkness. All right.
Up next are the banshees, who cannot see magical darkness, but all the people, they are in the darkness. Yep, they will not go into the magical darkness, as who would run into magical darkness, but instead make their way towards what they can see. 5, 10, and actually they will dash, because they can't do anything else unless they do dash. Banshee number 4 gets bombarded by the spiritual guardians. So all the banshees the banshee went, repositioned himself, dodging the magical darkness that Minako has placed in front of them, instead trying to make their way around to the other combatants. As the Revenants are yelling orders, you hear just hissing and making undead sounds, changing up how all the undead creatures are moving, you notice. Up next is Cal, who is paralyzed, so I'm going to need you at the end of your turn to roll me another wisdom saving throw.
Well, I think I'm going to do that because I can't do anything.
You can do it, Cal. I believe in you.
Yes.
It's a wisdom save again?
21 succeeds.
21.
You're no longer paralyzed, but you are now frightened of Remnant number 5. Let's go ahead and swap them up. All right.
And that's the turn, yeah.
Right. All right. So, able to stave off finally using the power of Kumlembor, you are no longer stunned and your body can move, but the Revenant howls and hisses in front of your face. The zombies will now go, starting with zombie number 4, which will take damage, I believe. All right, taking an additional 15 points of damage. It will then, at an advantage, attack Duran the Gale. Terrible. It slams against you, Duran, but you barely feel a thud. It hisses and moans. Up next, zombie number 8, which will move towards Horatio. You're closest. And attack.
Please. I'm going to use my reaction to cast Shield, and that's going to bring my AC to 22.
All right, so it goes ahead and tries to slam and strike against you, but you react immediately, casting up your shield, which I believe also gives you abjuration stuff.
Yes, so since I cast it at first level, it's just going to give me, I believe, 2 HP to my shield.
Okay. And it bounces off of your magical shield, coming back and looking disheveled. Up next is top of the round. Minako, inside the magical darkness, what do you wish to do?
She will continue to kind of rally the people around into the darkness, promising them that the blanket of Nyx will protect them, and then she will fire yet more Eldritch Blasts, this time targeting these flaming skulls, flame skulls.
Okay, they cannot see you, so you will be at advantage for all these attacks.
One.
That's a hit.
Hits for 10 damage.
10 points of damage. Ouch. One volley hits. Make your next strike.
So she will try to hit multiple flame skulls, trying to disrupt the concentration that they have on the spells that they're obviously concentrating on.
Mm-hmm. So spinning phone number 4 will roll. It's a failure. So you see next to flame skull number 4, its flaming sphere fizzles away and turns into nothing, and they were definitely heading in your direction.
Without even noticing, the other blast is already coming out towards flame skull number 1. for hitting for 24. Hitting at a 24
That hits, roll damage.
for 11 damage.
11 on number 1. Let me roll another save. Oof, Wait, it was 11? Okay. That one manages to... Well, Zach 11. So it succeeds after getting hit by it. It manages to keep its concentration onto the flaming sphere. Though it pinpoints your direction. You start to see it start to move towards your direction. Continue with your attack.
One more.
Alright, you hit it again. Roll damage.
14 damage.
Alright, let me roll. It's a natural 19. So it manages to succeed on the save, and the ball is still moving towards you.
And then seeing after emptying those blasts, she whispers to the unicorn to be safe, and then will dismount.
Okay, so you dismount a unicorn. The unicorn will still be standing next to you. If you wish it to go anywhere, it can. But as of right now, it is standing in spot.
And that's it.
Okay.
Oh, she moves a little bit when she dismounts, and the darkness kind of comes with her, but it's not a lot.
Right. The people
she wants to maintain.
Oh,
yes.
No problem. The people also hear you call for them and begin to run.
Get on the ground! It's dangerous above!
Some of them run out of the magical darkness, finally making it, and they're seeing all their senses their sight coming back. They look around and see the mayhem's happening, and they look at each other and continue running. These will run as well, out of the magical darkness, making it further to the left because they see the mayhem that's happening beneath them. And they'll make it towards the edge of the map safely, leaving the one gentleman who's just surrounded by all these things, who just you see him cowering like, oh, while everyone else is clearly going to run away. He's not alone. The gentleman behind him also ran in that direction, bumps into his back, and he's just like, oh, and they're like, and they're just holding on to each other as they're surrounded by these undead that they cannot see. Anything else you wish to do, Minako? Or does that end your turn?
That will end her turn. She'll reassure them, and that's it.
All right, and with that, we will take a break.
Hey there, Dungeon Delvers. Thank you for listening. I would like to take this time to thank all of the wonderful people who helped bring Descent into the Void, a tale of D20s to life. Starting with Frank Freire, who designed our character art, Kyle Misko, who collaborated on the main, mystical, and night theme songs, Manuel Lapuca, who collaborated on our battle and adventuring theme song, Jan Rosa for the use of their original soundtracks, David Chappell for the use of his End of Silence, A World of Color soundtrack, MFY for the use of their Dragon Castle Symphony for Duran's theme song, and Danny.Phantom.01 for creating the Liberator's full art. You can find more about these wonderful artists on our website, ataleofd20s.com. Now click on to part 2, and let's continue our epic tale.